मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्देशतारिणे वंशागल्वदरुगश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे नाथाय रघुनाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरं गिरम् आरुह्य कविता शाकं वंदे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम। जय श्री राम जय श्री राम जय श्री राम। अयोध्या के राम लल्ला की जय। So today is Ram Navmi and we are all discussing the the qualities of Sri Ram, and we can see how Sri Ram still rocks. Right, today in Ayodhya, the first Ram Janma celebration happened. Of course, it was happening, but in the real temple of Lord Ramachandra, after so many hundreds of years, just like Bharat was waiting for Lord Ram's coronation coming back to Ayodhya. I always believe when we came to Ayodhya to see Ram Lalla again recently, the whole experience was that just like when Ram came back to Ayodhya and the coronation happened, that was such a significant time in the history of the entire creation. Similarly, next to that, in the very place, that great Ayodhya, wherein Sri Ramachandra, when he departed from this world, placed his lotus feet, which had traveled all over the Dandaka Kantaka forest. His lotus feet was pricked and pebbles were hurting his feet. That very feet he placed in the heart of all the Ayodhya-vasis. Imagine. And he went back to his Saket Dham, Ayodhya. So that very Ayodhya, Sri Ram has come back in the form of Ram Lalla, where the very sun, Surya Dev, came to decorate the lotus face of the Lord with his Surya Tilak, because Ram comes from Raghukula. So as we were discussing one of the qualities of Sri Ram, Satyavakya, we got to know something which was not revealed till Sri Ram told this to Bharat, that our father Dasharath Maharaj had promised the kingdom to Bharat, because that was the Kanya Shulka. Just like there is a dowry, in those times the royalty practiced also Kanya Shulka. Just like Sri Ram had to break the bow, that was Kanya Shulka, that was Veera Shulka. It's very interesting. Unless the men proved their credibility, right? Just imagine from where people have got to which place, where in the so-called arranged marriage system, the girl is placed into so many tests, right? But in the royalty, the men were put in test, Swayamvar. And Sri Ram also went through that. Sri Krishna also went through that when he was marrying Nagnajita, the girl from the Koshala dynasty. Her father told, "It is our great pleasure to offer you But what can be done? This is the rule. You have to tame all the bulls. Right. So that Sri Ram, who was telling Bharat about Kaikai's father asking Dashrath Maharaj, I will offer my daughter, no doubt. But then, what is the guarantee she'll be cared nicely? Will you make her son the future king of Ayodhya? Kaushalya was there, Sumitra was there, Kaikai was the youngest queen, was supposed to be the youngest queen. And Dashrath Maharaj agreed, thinking that Kaushalya Devi and Sumitra, anyway, they did not had child. Maybe Kaikai will get. So at least I want to marry her. And second, at least she will have the child. Nobody knew about this. Even Kaikai, for that matter, did not know. Even Manthara did not know about this. Kaikai's place. Not stay much in Ayodhya. He was staying in his uncle's place. If you remember, Dasharath Maharaj, just before the coronation of Lord Ram, was saying it is good that Bharat is not in this place, because he was in anxiety. He will come to know, he might challenge. He also did not understand the credibility of Bharat. And therefore, how is that Sri Ramachandra is such a Satyavakya Patipalaka, comes back to Ayodhya, no problem coming back, then why did he take over the kingdom which actually belonged to Bharat, as it was promised by Dasharath Maharaj to uh, Kaikai's father, and revealed by Sri Ram to Bharat himself? Right? It is very intriguing. So the explanation is given. Bharat accepted the kingdom. He took that kingdom for 14 years. The father's law for Sri Ramachandra is that 14 years he has to go to the Vanvas. Bharat will rule and Ram will go to Vanvas for 14 years. So that law Sri Ramachandra followed. And Bharat put one condition which Sri Ram was not able to disobey. He said, my dear brother, I accept this kingdom. Still, I will accept on your behalf only. I don't care for all these vows. And now, as a Sharanagata, as a completely surrendered Bhakta or a brother, I have already offered this kingdom. I am ruling on your behalf. Even if you come now, that is the greatest pleasure. If you're not willing to come, okay for that. 14 years. If you delay even for a moment, I will lay down my life. Right? So now that kingdom which Bharat was ruling was already given to Ram by Bharat, but Ram wanted to practice the 14-year Vanvas and come back just to accept Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam of Bharat. That was the only reason. Therefore, one of the qualities of Sri Ram, as we discussed, while practicing his Satyavakya Paripalaka, he also made his father practice that very vow. If Ram Prabhu would have not come, he would disobey his own character and he would also make his devotee fail. Therefore, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he told Arjun, you declare boldly, right? My devotee, by speaking, when he speaks boldly, it becomes the responsibility of Lord Narayan to fulfill those promises. As Krishna, he may break his promise, and Ram will not do that. Right? And plus, it was the declaration of Bharat that Ram has to come back to Ayodhya and take over the kingdom. Imagine such a profound concept of Ramayana, so painful, so profound, so exciting. Every story, every episode, every connection from verse to verse in the Ramayana is full of the internal expression which is called as Dhwani. In the writing of the great Valmiki Maharshi, then comes the next quality of Lord Ramchandra, Sri Ramachandra, which is called as Dridhavrata. Dridhavrata and Charitya, these two character we'll try to see. Now, Vrata, Dridha Vrata. Vrata is basically resolution. Any resolution taken will fulfill all condition. It is explained for a living entity to break his vow is a natural quality in its conditional stage. There would be some reason for the living entity to break the vrata. If one can avoid doing it, then that living entity is actually exhibiting the qualities of ability in man according to Bhagavad Gita. I am the ability in man. It's very rare, right? Deshadroha, Dharmadroha, Vratadroha, right? It happens for living entities, and therefore Manushya Durbalta, we discussed that also. Sri Ramachandra sent Hanumanji to completely get the clear picture whether Bharat still want to continue as the king because he has the power. He is conditioned to rule for 14 years and it is meant to be for him only. If he has any desire to continue to rule, Sri Ram did not take it as a crime. He considered that quality to be natural for any living entity. Nothing wrong about it. Right? It is not wrong to want a position. But one has to be qualified like Bharat. Duryodhan wanting to have the position, Krishna would have not allowed him to rule because it was not only, okay, let him rule, but he was not qualified. He was inefficient. He was adharmic. He had to be removed. So it's very important to understand Dridhavrata. So the Dridhavrata quality of Sri Lord Narayan, Vishnu, Krishna, it is not only when he comes as an avatar. Dridhavrata is connected to the play of the eternal creation Leela. Right? The Brahma Sutras explain that na prayojanatvat. The Supreme Brahman, Ishwar, has no prayojan in the creation. Unfortunately, many times we quote out of context. Right? A self-realized person has no duty to perform in the Gita. But that is a Purva Paksha. What is the Uttar Paksha? The Uttar Paksha is, of course, he may not have any duties to perform, but still to set an example in the world, he should perform his duty. Right? Unless we see the verses in the overall context, one can pull out verses from here and there and bring out any meaning, whatever one wants to bring out. So this Brahma Sutra verse is quoted many times. What is there for the Ishwar in this world? It has any value, this world? It has no value. Na prayojanatvat. Right? In the Western concept is that this place is not desirable. Therefore, the concept of avatara doesn't exist in the Abrahamic world because the Supreme Lord shuns this world. The Lord is residing in this kingdom. But in Sanatan Dharma, any Prakriti which is coming from Sriman Narayan, Sri Krishna, is nothing but extension of his Shakti only. Yad yad vibhutimat sattvam, yumam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati. Divinity in everything. And everything in divinity, he is never lost to me, I am never lost to him. So therefore, Lord does not take this Srishti lightly. he has no personal prayojan, but still, what does he say? Lokavattu leela kevalam. The purpose of this srishti is the leela for the Supreme. What kind of leela? It is not that he brings the suffering, he makes somebody suffer, somebody, sometimes people use this verse. Arey, what kind of leela is this? People are suffering. That is his leela, to create the universe and make people suffer and go through all kinds of painful realities and then again conclude the creation. What kind of leela is this? Again, please understand, leela for the Supreme Lord is to have the Drida Vrata to bring back those living entities who are obstinate, who are resolute in determination in regards to not going back to the spiritual consciousness. For such people, Sri Krishna, Sri Ram, Sriman Narayan, Drida he repeatedly comes again and again. His resolution to be part of the Srishti, be part of the Sthiti, be part of the Pralaya for the new Srishti is an eternal reality. Ye hota hai Dridhavrata. This is called as Dridhavrata, and he never fails in his duty. Because Dridhavrata for a living entity is born out of sentiment and practice. But still the living entity fails. But for Sri Ramachandra, Dridhavrata is the very personification of his reality. Dridhavrata, Gunavan, Dharmagya, Kritagya, all these qualities what we discussed is the substance of his existence. Therefore, it doesn't have to exert to become Dridhavrata. It's a natural quality, and therefore it is explained he takes Diksha. The word Diksha is connected to Dridta only. The Diksha is connected to Vrata only. He takes that Diksha saying that I will work eternally to liberate the living entities, facilitate the living entities, so that the living entities slowly move forward and experience complete evolvement. So let us see some of the stories of Dridhavrata. When Sri Ram came to Dandaka forest, we know that, the rishis prayed to Sri Ramachandra to protect them. Some of the rishis came and showed the pain what they were going through, the physical torture. And Sri Ram offers them protection. And after offering them protection, he takes his bow and attacks. This is a beautiful description again. At one point of Sita Devi makes him sit and she discusses with him. She said, my dear Sri Ram, hey Arya, whatever I speak to you, I am speaking out of respect. There was a facility for communication so that she can speak and Sri Ram can hear, and they sat together. She said, I do not see any lie in you. I do not see any sensuality in you. But what I see, what I fear is that you are unnecessarily killing people who they have not done anything to you personally, my dear Ram. These Rakshasas have not done anything to you. Why are you in this mission of killing the Rakshasas? I can understand that they're going through difficulties. You can give them the assurance, but giving assurance does not mean that you should go on to this mission of killing the Rakshasas. Therefore, I feel you should stop this work of slaughtering. This is one of the great tragedy of any community. Like when the invaders came in North India, The South Indians feel, what we have to do with that? Right? They have not attacked us. Many times people in the name of, oh, they have not attacked us, why should I get bothered? It's only a question of time, even you will be attacked. And therefore, the great Shivaji Maharaj, follower of Sri Ram and Krishna and his followers, they went to Panipat, right? Where is Panipat and where is Pune? Where is Panipat and where is Satara? Please try to understand that. Right? Traveling from here to Panipat to fight an invader who had come to the borders of the Bharat, not in the land of Marathas. But there was a political alertness. There was a satarkta. If you study Ramayana, you'll understand this principle carefully. So therefore, Sita Devi, out of her love, affection to Sri Ram, made this presentation. And then what did Sri Ram tell Mother Sita to prove his Drudha Vrata? He said, hey Sita, my character is Artanam Abhirakshanam. He said, my bow, when it hears the cry of people, automatically starts standing erect, trying to use it for the cause of the greatest people. He says, I can give up my life. I can give up all my relations. I can give up you, I can give Lakshman also, but I cannot give up, especially these sages who are suffering so much. They're not allowed to perform this yajna. They're suffering so much. I cannot allow this to happen. That cannot happen, my dear Sita Devi. Therefore, I am here because at one point of time, this will come in the next quality of Charitravan, because the Charitra quality is connected to refine appearance. It is there in the blood itself. It is there in the genes itself. Refinedness, aristocracy, confidence. Of course, some can misuse that. And someone is not born in that, it is not that they cannot develop. What we consider refinedness to is to get some ordinary modern education. Somebody having no sanskara and sanskriti gets the modern education, that does not make them refined. A refined character is not connected to having a Harvard degree. You must have seen that girl, 26-year-old, Gujarati girl. What an unfortunate girl she is. And she's supporting the Gaza where she has no connection. Dekh sakte ho. We can see that, how she sounds like Shurpanaka. She sounds like Mantara. And she's paying a price for that. Right? So therefore, that refinedness is so important for us to understand. And therefore, when Sri Ram told Sita Devi, he said, you know what? I'm here, but I have not taken the vow of Vanaprastha. Because Sita Devi said, you have taken vow of Vanaprastha. What is the point in using the weapons? So Sri Ram proved her, no, I'm in the Vana, but I'm not Vanaprastha. I continue to remain a Kshatriya. I continue to remain providing security for the people. That character is never taken away from me. And therefore, to prove this point, beyond Sri Ram also, the great rishis offered him different kinds of weapon in the forest itself when Sri Rama was going through Vanavas. During the Vanavas itself, he fought one of the greatest war in the history, fighting against Ravana. Therefore, this logic of Ram fighting and becoming less charactered according to Ayodhya Vasi is refuted, because and I knew that you had taken Vanaprastha. And how is that? How is that you are raising weapons against me? I had done nothing to you. Therefore, how will you prove of your qualities of shooting against someone who's not involved in your life? Does it befit your character? Coming from the Raghukul dynasty. And if you read that part of Sri Ramayana, our great Sri Ramachandra explained to him, Hey Vali, he said, I have not taken Vanaprastha. On behalf of Bharat, right? Bharat is the Raja of Hastinapur. On his behalf, wherever I see the anachar, wherever I see wrong happening on his behalf, I have all the right to punish, and your crime is no less. It is almost, Ram doesn't mention here Ravan, but the reality, Ravan, and therefore, what did our Ramchandra do? He had punished, he proved that punishment, and when he gave the punishment to Wali, having that refined character of not creating a disruption in the Kishkinda Kshetra. Imagine minimum damage Sri Ram did. Removed Wali, placed Sugriva there, right? He won the heart of Wali, wherein Wali was willing to hand over his son Angada to Sugriva. And at the same time, when Sugriva decided to marry Tara, because in Kishkinda Kshetra, women being alone would be exploited. Imagine how responsible modern thinking it was. Sometimes some of the great authors, they've avoided the story of Tara marrying with Sugriv. They couldn't handle. A widow remarriage, they couldn't handle. But this happened. It's not that Ram said you should marry, but Sri Ramachandra approved the marriage of Tara and Sugriv so that Tara has some protection. But he did not preach about this all over. So the beauty is, like recently some so-called actress, she spoke about live-in relationship. You don't preach it. You should have the courage to understand the reality and deal with appropriately, but always talk, educate about the depth of married life, right? So प्रचार किसका करना चाहिए? What to preach, what not to preach? Sri Ram did not preach about Tara's marriage with Sugriv. He accepted because it was a contextual, it was a situational. That quality of Lord Ram is so good, it fits the quality of the Raghukula people, right? And therefore, our Wali, the acceptance of her character is one of the great quality of Sri Ramachandra, Charitravan. And we'll conclude when our Bharat came back from his uncle's place. He comes back and he sees what has happened to Ayodhya. He's flabbergasted. All the deities, all the devatas in the temple, as if they were crying tears. Right? There was such a mourning period in Ayodhya. He could recognize something bad has happened. And eventually he meets his mother, Kaikai. And she tells, which without any expression, Hey Bharat, accept this kingdom for yourself. All the Kantaka has gone out of this place. Basically, the very lady who had such a great affection for Sri Ram, you know, from her mouth came that Kantaka, the thorn is no more. Take this kingdom. Bharat is completely shocked. I say, what happened? Where is Sri Ram? Now, what happened to the father? So then Kaikai tells that Ram has gone to the forest. When he has been asked by the father to go to the forest, Bharat is extremely hurt. How this happened? Why did he go to the forest? What did my Ram do? Did he cheat some poor people? Did he do something wrong to the Brahmanas? Did he kill some great sage? Did he have an extra affair with somebody else? Why would, all this question coming from the mouth of Bharat is not to question the character of Ram, because sending to the forest means it has to be extremely something very, very dangerous act he must have done. Because he said, Kaikai said he has been sent to the forest teachers explain, even though Kaikai had sent Sri Ram to the forest, but she had never questioned the charitra of Sri Ramachandra. She said, my dear, how is it possible? He cannot do any of this. Brahma Hatya he cannot do. And he cannot harm any poverty-stricken people. And what to speak of engage in illicit activities? That doesn't exist in Ram. Even though Kaikeyi is cruel-hearted, Valmiki Maharshi brings out from her mouth the great charitra of Sri Ramachandra, right? And therefore, when he, during the pariksha of Sita Devi, right, for the sake of everybody else, what does he do? He tells Sita Devi, I have fought this war to prove the credibility of my kula, right? That kula, Suchinam Srimatam Gehe, right? So when that kula is there, that credibility is there, as Sri Krishna had asked Arjuna, Arjun being born in a responsible family, a great heritage responsibility. Again, it is connected to a high refined quality in which the purpose is to, whether it is the first quality of Gunavan to the great charitra of Sri Ram, they're all interconnected, and the interconnection is the connection of bringing more and more living entities to understand him, to study him, to practice him, to love him, to perform service to him, right? To make one resourceful, strong, able, devotional, so that one can chant Jai Jai Raghuveer Samartha, right? The great Shivaji Maharaj's guru, he basically said one should be resourceful for the sake of Ram. As much as one becomes resourceful on a spiritual level, on emotional level, on dharmic level, that much they will ask less from Sri Ramchandra. And as much as they ask less from Ramachandra, that much Ramachandra will empower them, because he understands these people have the mettle, these people have the courage, these people have the resources to render service. And that is what we see in Ayodhya, and the spirit of Ayodhya being everywhere. When you stand in front of Ram Lalla as the citizen of Ayodhya, as the subject of Sri Ram, right? And what does he do? He gives us the assurance. He gives us the confidence that I will be there forever and you be there forever in the service of myself through serving everybody else. That was the quality of Ram. And the next quality, more qualities we will discuss, is called as Sarva Bhuta, Sarva Bhuteshu Kohitaha. Valmiki Maharshi asked, who is that somebody who is Sarva Bhuta Hita? That everyone, whether it is Ravan or Kumbhakarna, Ravan or Vali, because Sri Ram knows every living entity is eternally connected, and rekindling, reconciling their limitation and making into that potential, and therefore he is equal to everybody without any discrimination. Therefore, when Ravana was killed, Valmiki Maharshi calls in Samana Shoka Kakustaha. As much as Vibhishan was crying, that much pain was also experienced by Sri Ramachandra. And he indirectly hinted, if you do not perform his last rites, I will do that. And he had proved, he had done for Jatayu. And therefore, it is our good fortune that we are born in Bharat. We are born in Bharat as the followers of Sanatan Dharma, which is called as Hindus. And our ancestors, fought, they struggled, they survived, being part of the Sanatan Dharma. They could have been converted easily, as millions of people got converted. And one of the greatest tragedy happened to them is not only eating the cow. One of the greatest tragedy, not eating only the pig, the greatest tragedy was they were separated from Ramayana. They are separated from Bhagavad. They were separated from the Nam. They are part of this great heritage. And being here, they were separated. And therefore, it also becomes the responsibility to bring Ramayana, bring Ram Bhagavad, bring Mahabharata, bring Bhagavad Gita in such a way that everyone has to have the Ghar Vapsi. Right? What kind of Ghar Vapsi? To have the pride in this soil. Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, Krishna, right? Even connected to this tirthas, even if they don't go to the temple, even connected to this tirtha, and especially the tirtha of Rama's story, the tirtha of Krishna's story. If they hear it, it is guaranteed that they'll experience the transcendence, and they will also become the great followers of Sri Ram, and call today and every other day, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai, Ayodhya Dham.